So there have been some more updates and such with the garrisons and with the starting experience. Couple new things with the rating. Not much with the rating really, but a couple new things said, and then there also have been some new information regarding the Warlords of Dreanor traits because they're removing and changing a bunch of the character traits and class traits or race traits, not class traits, but race traits from the game, seeing as they're getting rid of hit and expertise, and a lot of them have different specializations, like act specialization, which increases expertise, but without expertise, it's kind of pointless to have it. But first, we'll just throw out some information here about the garrisons, and when I came back to the website, I noticed that I probably could have used these pictures here as well in my Garrison's explanation, where you'd start off with this section of land, build it up like that to that. It's basically how it's going to be built up. But anyways, we'll just get on to this information here. Garrisons should give you access to portions of other professions without making the people that actually have professions useless. So, as I was saying before, you put in a blacksmith and you'll get portions of blacksmithing, but not the whole entire blacksmithing profession, which means if you still need probably some of the more powerful type blacksmithing stuff, you are still going to have to either have a blacksmith or find a blacksmith to make you the item. As far as the stables in the garrison go, when you build a stable, the mounts that in your garrison stable will be mounts that you own based and show up based on the ones that you use the most. So say you use your, I don't know if it's going to apply to both ground and flying, but say you use your whatever, your sparkle pony or whatever, your star pony thing the most, it will probably show up in there. Or say you use your regular griffin the most, it'll show up in there. Say you, for some weird reason, like to use the Meko chickens, it will show up in there. But it will go by based on what mount you use the most for probably, I would assume, 3 to 4 mounts would make sense. Garrisons have a new NPC AI system that allows NPCs to behave less like scripted NPCs are now. For example, the blacksmith could wake up, go to work at his forge, become thirsty, and eventually go take a break at the tavern, and then finally go back to the barracks to sleep. Or go back to work, and then go back to the barracks to sleep. Funny thing, they spelt then wrong on the website, and it says 10. But whatever. So basically that means your blacksmith, if you hire a blacksmith, rather than him always just walking back and forth between the anvil and the forge and the armor rack or the weapon rack, he will eventually just walk outside of his he'll eventually just walk outside of his blacksmith, maybe over to the inn to get himself some beer or some juice, depending on what he likes, and then from there he will then walk back, maybe back to his place of work, and then back over into the barracks. And I'm not sure how much you're gonna be able to interact with them. Like if they're walking out over in the tavern, if you're gonna be able to interact with them as if they were a blacksmith or not. But we'll find that out. See, the other thing that they are planning on doing because of this stuff, improved AI was made necessary when the team decided to allow players to select the buildings for their location, making it impossible to pre-script and pre-place all the NPC interactions. So pretty much because of the fact that, let's see if there's a picture here real quick. Yeah, we'll just go with this picture here. So because of the fact, like, you could put your blacksmith, say, right here, they can't script all the blacksmithing stuff to just here, because you might decide, oh, I want to put my blacksmith right here, or, over here. So rather than, scripting every single possible event into, or character custom thing into the exact same thing, they decided, let's make a kind of a script thing where they can follow wherever they feel like inside of the whole zone in which you control. So they might even wander from, let's say, I don't know what this is. The blacksmith, I can tell, it's right back here in this corner. So say he wanders from the blacksmith. He's like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna walk over here to whatever this is. Then from here, I'm gonna walk back over here. I might go check a movie. Don't think there's movie theaters, but he might go check, whatever's going on in this building, and then walk back over this way and be like, okay, I'm gonna go take a nap and go back into the barracks, go to sleep, or go to the inn and go to sleep, or whatever. So they're not having the same type of system for everything, or all the NPCs that they do now, where you're not always guaranteed to find them wherever they are. This system might be used for NPCs in cities and other places in the future. So because they have this whole new AI system that they're building in, they are thinking that they might actually be able to just add it into the game wherever they feel like later on in the future. So maybe in Stormwind, you'll go to the blacksmith there and he'll be wandering around, which might suck for people who want to learn blacksmithing. They might end up having a new way to learn it, which would be kind of cool. Like if they just ever did everything kind of like they did with what was it, alchemy and jewelcraft, not jewelcraft, but pretty much with alchemy, whereas as you did different stuff, you learned new spells and such. I honestly think that they should take smelting, add it into blacksmithing instead of mining. And then it's like as you smelt your ore, you learn new uses for it, or so I don't know. Something. That's what I think they should do with it. But anyway, if they add that to cities, and you need to learn blacksmithing patterns, and your blacksmithing pattern guy isn't there, that would get kind of confusing. I mean, they might add it to just some, or they might just put like a spell book type thing where you could go and you could learn your new skills or buy new skills as you're going. But who knows? The location of buildings in your garrison is mostly a personal choice. As a gameplay element of garrisons is selecting which buildings you want for your limited plots. So basically, let's see, I wonder if there's a good picture here for how you could actually do this. I don't think they have a plot thing for it. No, they don't have a plot thing for it. So since you could put your blacksmith here, or you could put it here, or here, or here, or here, wherever, as long as it's, I'm assuming the blacksmith's probably going to be a medium-sized plot, so you can put it in any medium-sized plots. So because of that, it's personal choice. You can put it wherever you feel like. You don't have to be, oh, well, if I put it here, it'll make more sense, because, yeah, there's honestly no real reason to put anything in set spots. Of course, yeah, so, anyways, I don't know what else I can say there. Anyway, next point is, the team is aware of the problem with the farm in Mists of Pandaria and doesn't want players to feel the need to have garrisons on their alts just to funnel resources to their mains. So, by the sounds of this, they almost make it sound as if they are planning on making the garrison count bound. So if you decide to have it on your warrior, if you get onto your mage, you can go to it as well. I think that would be kind of interesting to do, because then you could, as you're leveling up, if you level up your main first and then you get on your alt, you could get some stuff from your alts. But I don't see how they would do some of it. Like if you had like a miner in your garrison, where would he put the gold or the ore and stuff? Which the same time, would be awesome if they could have like some sort of chest system. The way I think that this would work the best would be like if I have a miner, I have like he goes back to like my garrison's bank and puts in his ore into the garrison bank, and then I go to the garrison bank and only withdraw from it. I can't deposit unless other than maybe depositing gold or something like that to help fund or other stuff. Maybe I could add ore to it, which would help me increase the fact that I could build or upgrade walls or something like that. But until we figure, until all that comes out, we will not be sure to know. But that's what it sounds like that they're going to try and make it. So it's account bound rather than player bound, so that you're not just, oh well, my main's a blacksmith, so I'm gonna have 11 characters with a mine just so I can get blacksmithing mats, or a jewel crafter so I can get ores to jewel craft. I don't know what they're doing with jewel crafting since they said they're doing kind of away with it. I don't know what jewel crafting is going to happen with and stuff, but we'll, same point. The players will want to check in with their garrison once per play session, maybe when they log in or out. It won't be a place to idle like cities currently are, as there's no auction house or bank. So, because you won't be able to put an auction house or a bank in your garrison, which, as I agree, it makes sense. I mean, I think it'd be cool to have like a mini bank, as I was saying, to be able to store some stuff maybe. Or, kind of just like a chest or something where it's like, oh, hey, here's a chest, you could store 10 to 15 items in it, or, you want to store just something here out of the way. Hey, here you go. Have some space to do it. But seeing as there's no auction house or bank, there's not going to be any real reason to always go back to your garrison, other than maybe to check and see what they're doing, or to just maybe if you want to go access your blacksmithing stuff or your leatherworking stuff or whatever, your farm and stuff. But rather than it being you get on and go spend time there, they want it to still kind of be like the farm, where it's like once a day you go, you harvest, you plant, you water or whatever, and then you just wait. Although I think it would be a little bit better if they had more to do than just that. I mean, maybe have it to where everything's on like cooldown, to where, I mean, if you do everything at once, you could go in and do it all at once. But seeing as, like, say I did some blacksmithing stuff first, and then I wanted to go do some mining stuff there, but I did it like 3 hours apart, I'd have to come back 3 hours later, or later than that, in order to do it. But, who knows? None. That's what they've released about some of the new garrison information. Yeah. So we'll just kind of cycle through some of the screenshots here every now and then while I go over some of the information regarding some of the other stuff that is going to be coming out with Warlords of Dreanor, and then I will probably scroll up. I'll probably do another short video about the different racial traits and stuff that they're changing in a different video to make this one not too long. But for starting out, we'll go with everyone will have a starting experience in Warlords of Dreanor that will take place before the gameplay videos that have come out recently. So recently, if you go to like MMO Champion, there are a couple videos there in which you can check out some of the gameplay from, I believe, Frostfire Ridge for the Horde and Shadow Moon Valley for the Alliance. Sadly, they don't have percentage plates or number plates on the character, so it's hard to tell, how much mana and health and stuff they actually have, which would have been nice so that you could actually see the item squish a little bit easier. But they also have some, I'm sure if anybody who goes to the main BattleNet WoW site has seen or has possibly seen the item squish charts. But for that, there's going to be some sort of gameplay that takes place before whatever you see there. Let's see, the normal experiences take place at the Dark Portal, having you go through and stop to stop it, fail, but you stop the immediate threat. So you go through it. Garrosh has already been there for a while, and you're like, okay, we're gonna stop it. You ultimately fail, but you stop them for basically the time being. It's kind of like, oh, I flattened your tires. Now you have to wait. We didn't kill you, but we flattened your tires. Now you're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to get some new tires. Yeah, something like that. The characters that are boosted to 90 will have a slightly different experience, with most of the skills removed from their bars, and then having abilities unlocked as they play, which I went over in my last video, I believe. That rather than getting all whatever ability, 17 abilities you'll have now, since they took out a bunch of abilities and changed a bunch of abilities, which I'd go over some of the changes. For the most part, some of them is just CC and stuff like that have all been combined. They've gotten rid of a bunch of CC and added some other stuff to, hey, we took out like 7 abilities, added one more ability that kind of combines them. And some of the abilities they just plain out combined to make one ability. But yeah, there's that. So as they might go there, and every 1 bar of experience or whatever, or every couple quests, they get a new ability, kind of like the Death Knights did, in a way, whereas, you leveled your first couple levels real fast, but rather than it being first couple levels real fast, it'll be your first couple of quests, or something like that, whereas, kind of like if you went back and played the Death Knight before Cataclysm, or not before actually, yeah, it was before Cataclysm, during Cataclysm as well. Either way, when the Death Knights first came out, basically, you know how they had the trees and stuff at that point. As you leveled, you got like one, or as you did quests, you got like 1 or 2 talent points that you were able to put into the different tree talents. So they might do something similar to that, as far as the level 90 boost, for if it's your first level 90 boost, or whatever. Okay, as far as the rating and stuff is going, there aren't any mythic only boss planned for 6.0, so there's just 7 bosses for High Mall, 10 bosses for Blackrock Foundry. Everybody's going to be able to access them through normal heroic content, and for looking for raid content as well once that comes out. But they will they're thinking about maybe making some mythic only element fights, similar to how there's the phase for Garrosh and Stormwind, or Ragnaros with legs. Rather than adding a new boss, just add new phases that you have to do as well. Let's see, Raden from the Throne of Thunder did not work out. Wasn't able, you can't really public test, or they can't really public test it that well. They want to kind of keep it a secret, but at the same time, they want to be able to public test it so that they can go through and find any bugs or exploits. But seeing as it's, mythic only bosses, or at this current time, heroic only bosses, aren't really easily tested, because not everybody that's doing the PTR are the hardcore raiders that will spend the entire PTR trying to figure out how to do the boss, because they're probably still just setting everything else on farm, or still trying to work on some of their heroic encounters from the previous patch. But who knows? So there's loopholes and stuff like that that they find in heroic or mythic only bosses. So they're one reason why they're not thinking about doing any of those, because they might not ever be tested. Whereas mythic only phases are probably easily or more easily tested. They could actually probably add them to normal man tests and then just see if they work, see if it works properly, and then force it over to heroic, make it harder. And then as far as everything else is concerned with the game, the team is aware that the timeline in older content is a bit inconsistent, but updating Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King content would take away from Warlords of Draenor. It would probably also take away from the next expansion and the next expansion. That's a lot of content in order to have to go through. I mean, it'd be nice if they could get a separate team, if they were able to hire a new team kind of thing, where they could go in and just cycle through all the old content and, update it all to be kind of up to date, not necessarily change it all. But as for we'll just use Wrath of the Lich King, rather than, or as you're leveling through Wrath of the Lich King, the Lich King from before might show up, in the quest that he shows up in. But as far as other stuff is concerned, you'll see Bolvar rather than. I don't know how they would update it, honestly, but they would like to update it, and I know people would like them to update it, but it's kind of hard to update it and keep it actually relevant to that part of the expansion. Whereas I'll agree that they could probably do some stuff to add cataclysm type effects to Northrend, seeing as Outlands is a completely different world. Cataclysm really probably had no effect on it, so they can't really change much there. But they could always change some of the quest a little bit. But honestly, there's, like I said, I kind of like it the way it is. I mean, they could update the quests or stuff a little bit, but if they do that, like I said, it's going to take away from the next expansion and probably even the next expansion after that. Anyways, we'll leave here for now. This is a decent sized video, not anything too important in it. And yeah, we'll come back with another short video explaining the different race traits and stuff that they have released in a Blue Post blog or whatever it was they released it in. It's not on the website, so yeah, I'm assuming it was some sort of blue posting a blog or something on whatever they post them on. And yeah, we'll come back.